Alright, I'm gonna pray that my computer doesn't crash. This can either be really bad or really good. Alright, it's sounding like it's taking off right now, so um this could be a terrible idea. I don't know. Alright, what's going on everyone? My name is Lucas, the Happy Camper, and this is gonna be my first tutorial video, kinda going over things, how I edit, what I edit. It's gonna be hard because of copyright, so I'm gonna strictly be doing videos of like the short clips I do on Instagram Reels. I can't show any of my mixtapes or anything like that because I use like rap songs, stuff like that, you know. I don't want to get copyrighted. I do want to transition into using more like actual sounds, like royalty-free songs and all that stuff that I won't get copyrighted for. That's more traditional, if that makes sense. But anyway, let's get right into it. Today we're going to be breaking down this little video I made that I posted on my Instagram yesterday. I filmed at Atlantic City. I don't know if any of you guys know. It's in New Jersey. But we're just going to break down how I did it. I'm going to show it to you first. I'll play it on the screen. I'll probably end up putting the better version up, but I'll just play it for you guys right now. She won't get up out my space. Said she won't be in my atmosphere. I told her get up. So anyway, the first thing is obviously I found a real audio that I liked. I feel like this audio just went well. It's trending right now. There's like 12 videos on it. It's an early trending audio, so I wanted to jump on that, and it was short. I want to get more into like the shorter videos. So yeah, obviously I'll this audio, something simple. She won't get up in my space. Says she won't be in my eye. Alright, so the first thing I want you guys to notice is the beats, the kicks that are in the song. She won't get up in my space. Like the bump, bump. Like I don't have to explain. And notice how I match each cut of every clip to the beat. That's kind of the essential thing. You want to make sure that you match your video to the audio. The audio matching the video is what's going to make or break your video. That's going to be the biggest thing on whether or not people like the video or not. If the audio doesn't match the video, then you're done. You're done. The first thing I did, so for the first clip, I needed a build-up clip because obviously the sound builds up before it drops, or drops, whatever you want to say. So I needed kind of a longer clip where there was action that played out, that looked a little cinematic for a long time. So I got this free throw clip that I took. It's really just a basic free throw clip. I filmed kind of from the waist up. I wanted to get the scoreboard in the background. I was hoping that as he made it, he would, the guy would add the score onto the scoreboard, but unfortunately he didn't. So anyway, this is the clip. It's just a simple free throw clip. I'm in CapCut, by the way. Super simple. I don't need anything professional. So you click on your video and it'll bring up this screen on the side. You'll have video, audio, speed, animation, and adjustment. This is where you want to go over to speed. Now you could do it normal slow-mo where you just slow it down, like 0.5, whatever like that. But I go over to curve because this is where I curve my videos, and it's how I create like the slow motion effects where it speeds up. This is my speed ramp. So if you don't know how to use a speed ramp, I'll make a whole in-depth video about that. I feel like a lot of people don't, because I definitely didn't when I first started out. But it's really simple, really simple. But I'm just gonna go into this assuming that you know, and I'm sorry that if you don't, that I will make a whole video explaining it. So basically for this clip, I started it at, I believe I started it at 0.8. Yeah, I started at 0.8. So you could slow it down like 0.9, 0.8, 0.7. Yeah, I started it at 0.8 because it's not super slow, but it's also smooth. So I cut it at 0.8. And then as the song, there was a little bell, if you can hear it. I made sure when I heard that to drop it from 0.8 to 0.5. So you kind of get the, you get the effect with the sound of it dropping. So I kind of went from 0.8. I have the line at 0.8, and then I dropped it right as that bell hit. So it went a little slower. And then as it's coming back to the beat drop, at the end, I do this with all my speed ramps, I brought the speed back up to 1 and then even sped it up a tiny bit at the end. Because what this will do is it'll make it, it's hard to tell here. It'll make it slow, obviously. It'll slow it down. And then it'll speed it up just enough to see. So then with the next clip, when the next clip starts at the normal speed, I always start the next clip at 1x speed unless I'm doing some special crazy. I don't ever do that stuff. So I always start the next clip at 1x speed. And therefore, when the video cuts back, when they go into each other, it transitions very well. Because as you could see, if I bring this down here and just keep this slow-mo the whole time. Oh, I'm gonna have to turn this off. I keep this slow-mo the whole time. It works, but it's kind of just too like sudden. It's kind of just like it hits you, and I know sometimes that's good, but I wanted to be able to transition it. I wanted them to be able to not see the cut, if that makes sense. Not see where I know it's hard to not see the cut, obviously, but I want them to the speed to at least run into each other. So that's for the first clip. Started at a 0.8, dropped it down to 0.5 when the beat dropped, and then at the end I brought it back up. For the next clip, I just took this clip of number 4 here. I believe this kid's name is Chris. It was during warm-ups. I took a shot of him just coming up. Like, I think he wasn't even doing anything. He was just walking, and I liked the shot, so I took it of him. And I used that. I slowed it down a little bit. Again, as I said earlier, I started the video in 1x. And then since the kicks are so short, so like close to each other, I had to make sure it cut down the slow-mo very early. So as you see here, it started at 1, and I wanted to do this effect where it's like a speed ramp, like it starts, slows, and then goes back up, you know. It's hard to explain, but when you see it, it's a lot easier. So I started it at 1x, and then I can't say there's a exact spot you need to put it at. You kind of just have to mess with it. You kind of mess with this right here. You kind of just got to play with what seems right, what you like, when do you want it to slow down, etc. It won't go back, whatever. But I liked it to slow down there, so I put it down there. I slowed it down there, and then the same thing as I did with the last clip, I just brought it back up. I used this little curve here to make sure it was smooth and just wasn't sudden. But again, I'll give you a second to look at the graph. It's nothing crazy. Started at 1. Whenever I felt like it was right, I slowed it down so it went from fast all the way down to slow. And I made this just drop, so that was sudden. I wanted that to be sudden. I always wanted the drop to be sudden, and then when it goes back to kind of smooth back in. So the drop is sudden, and then after a little bit, it smooths back in. And then as you can see, the next clip starts at 1. And then I can't lie, if you look at all these speed ramps, like this one, the first one, the third one, the fourth one, 5th one, 6th one, 7th one, they're all variations of each other. It's all this, it's literally the exact same thing. It's just spaced out differently. It's all preference, how you want it to look. And the biggest thing was matching it with the kicks, because every time I changed the speed or everything like that, I would have to either cut the clip or extend the clip because it messed with how long the clip was, and I needed it to match the exact, where the kicks were, obviously. But yeah, so I really don't know what else I need to explain. Oh, I forgot. Almost forgot my keyframe. So as you can slightly tell, there's a little zoom in on the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 9th clip. Just a little, like it's not a focal zoom. It's like a scale zoom. You can barely notice it. It's there. It's very tiny. It's one of those things that you don't really notice, but it adds effect, adds motion, I guess. But this one's really simple. Again, you just want to click on your video, whichever video you want to zoom in, and then you're gonna see on the right side there's scale, position, all that stuff. Go on scale, go to the very beginning of your clip. So find your clip, go to the very beginning right here, and obviously since I have to crop in, I have the percent at 318. So you're gonna keyframe it at whatever percent you want it to start at, whatever the base percent is of your format. If you're in horizontal or whatever the base percent is, horizontal would be 100. So you want to keyframe it at the first frame of the clip at 100. Then you want to go to the end, very end of the clip. I usually go to the very end, and then I'll go back a frame. I just press, left on the arrows, and then I will click wherever I think looks good. So obviously 318 is the lowest we can go before it gets the black bars. So I wanted it to zoom in a little bit further, so I brought it to, I think I brought it 367 originally, but 371 is basically the same thing. And at the end, it'll just give you a slow zoom. I know it's really hard to see, especially because the clips are very short, but it is there. I swear it's there. As you could probably tell with this clip a little bit better. Again, you could see the keyframes. This one, I believe I positioned because the ball I didn't like how the ball was off center, so I just positioned it so it tracked it. Positioning is moving it left to right so the ball's like in the center. Again, I can make a whole video on that. Doesn't matter. Yeah, so this clip you can kind of see a little better. It zooms in. It's not really a focal zoom, and as well as this clip, you can kind of start telling towards the end when they start zooming in more. But you can, if you wanted it to zoom in like faster instead of slower, you can just take this keyframe and move it on up, and then it just zooms in a lot quicker. Zoom it out. You know, it kind of just whatever you want to do. Obviously, the last thing is like footage. I can't give you good footage. I'm not saying my footage is great, but it is 4K, so it kind of the quality is there at least. I try to get the angles there. I try to get the cinematic shots there. I try to do the best I can, but obviously I can't gift you footage. So that's kind of on you to pre-plan your shots, pre-plan what you want. Again, always have a mindset going in what you want to do. I usually have the audio picked out before the game. I can't lie, I had this audio picked out before the game. But that's really about it. Nothing crazy. I made at the end, I cut it to black on a cut and then just let the rest play, because I feel like that's a little better than having just a 0.2 second clip. But that's really it. Export it 1080 24 frames, because Instagram, their conversion units, the Instagram's normal format is 1080 it's 1920 by 1080. You always want to export at what you're going to be posting on, because if you export it at say if I export my video at 4K and then post it to Instagram, Instagram will compress it. And I don't know if you're a photographer, videographer, you know about Instagram's compression. It's terrible. It's probably the worst thing about Instagram is the way it compresses photos. So you don't want Instagram to be handling your compressions. So if you put it in 1080p, it'll still keep the same quality when you go to upload it. If you want proof, go to my Instagram. I shoot in 4K, export in 1080p, and the quality stays the same. But as far as that, that's going to be the end of the video. There's really not much else I can go over. If you do have any questions that I missed, please drop a comment below and I will answer it as fast as possible. I'm going to try to start posting these videos a little more. I got a little setup going. And yeah, that's really it. Follow me on Instagram. That's where I post everything. If you don't think I'm legit, if you don't think that I have credit, follow me on Instagram at HappyCamperFX. I'll put it down there. I'm on TikTok too, but I cross post, and Facebook. It's all the same. If your mom uses Facebook, tell her to hit me up. Not actually, but tell her to follow me. You know, I'm doing some self promo. I do pictures of any kind, family photo shoots, sports photo shoots. I'm gonna quit yapping. Have a good night. She won't get up out my space. Said she won't be in my atmosphere. I told her get up out